Jawa balls!
Hi there, welcome back. So here's my little guy. So far I have painted him black. Then I painted him dry brushed with a couple layers of Dark Angels green. Painted him with a nice thin layer of Dark Angels green, letting it dry, then painting it again. Then I made a 50-50 mix of Snot green and Dark Angels green and dry brushed him a couple layers of that. Then I dry brushed him with a very, very, very light layer of Snot green pure from the pot. Then I hit him with a dose of the Citadel Wash Thraka Green. This stuff is pretty nice. That left me with what I have here. Very beautiful Dark Angels model. This guy is pretty much ready for tabletop if I had his arms done and all that. This stuff I haven't finished yet. I'll do it last. So all I need to do now is a couple of the details, like maybe highlight a few parts of his body and then do his ventilators on his mask and his eyes. So what I'm going to do right now is, since I'm a control freak, I'm going to paint some of the highlights. Do I have a good angle? Okay. I'm going to use pure Snot green, just like all my other videos, and I'm going to just pick out some of the highlights. And it's going to really make them pop. I actually don't really want them to pop too much. So after you hit the highlight, kind of go back over it with your brush a bit and try and blend it back down. You only want to use a tiny, tiny, tiny amount of paint on your brush and hit the very most extreme edges of the armor. We're talking minimal, as the smallest amount you can do and still have it be on there. What I'm doing is I'm bringing back out the light highlight that I had done with the dry brush layer of Snot green. After dry brushing Snot green, the model looked pretty nice. However, I felt that some of the shading needed some work. So I put in the wash, which I'm very glad I did. The wash looks great. However, it dulled down my details. So now I'm going to go back in like I'm doing now and pick out those details again. Oop, I dropped my brush. By adding this extreme highlight on the edges of the armor, you are using the darkness of the recesses to push the edge of the armor out in space. You are creating the illusion of depth. Be very choosy about the areas that you paint with this final highlight. You don't want to do hardly much at all. Just some of the areas that stand out the most. Some of the hard edges. Especially with this technique, you can take your time on this because the actual dry brushing took so little time. If you're trying to do a quick tabletop model, you've got some extra time here to paint this dude up nice. These last few highlights will make a difference. kind of hard. Right now I'm painting for the camera. I just put too much, so I washed some of it off with my finger. I'm painting backwards. So that the camera can see what I'm doing. It's not easy. Painting a model I've never painted, or a chapter that is, I've never painted. So this is my first one ever, and I'm painting him from reverse. So that you can see what I'm doing on the camera. Let me just get his back really quick, then I'm going to stop with this highlight. Because I just, you know, I have to tell myself I'm only painting tabletop. Because I'll sit here and do details and highlights until I'm blue in the face. But that's not the point of these videos. And I want you to make nice tabletop models. Alright, let me get his last parts of his little collar. Alright, he's done. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to do for him. His body is finished. That was 6.5 minutes of highlighting. That's probably the longest part. Let me get a zoom if I can. This looks pretty good in the viewfinder, and I'm telling you, this took no time at all. This was fast. So if you're painting dark angels and you want to get them done quick, this is a technique for you. There you go. That's it. So that's 7 minutes. Enjoy.